90% of the soldiers who attempt Delta Force selection will fail, not because they're weak or unprepared. These are already some of the best soldiers the United States military has to offer. Veterans of Ranger battalions and Special Forces teams, men who have already proven themselves in combat, and 9 out of 10 of them still won't make it. You cannot apply to Delta Force as a civilian. There's no walk-in recruitment office, no form you fill out off the street. You have to earn your way to the starting line, and that starting line is already miles beyond where most military careers end. Level 1. The candidate. Before you can even think about Delta, you need rank. At minimum, you're an E4, a specialist or corporal. Realistically, you're at least a sergeant, an E5. You've already spent years in the army. You've deployed, led soldiers, and proven you can handle responsibility under pressure. Officers attempting selection are usually captains, O3s, already making decisions that affect hundreds of lives. Most candidates come from 2 places, the 75th Ranger Regiment or Special Forces. Rangers are the Army's premier direct action infantry force. Special Forces, the Green Berets, specialize in unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense, and denied area operations. Both communities are already elite. Delta recruits from the men who survived them. And Delta doesn't exactly hunt you down in secret. Recruitment notices appear in the Fort Liberty newspaper, the Paraglide. Requirements are listed openly. Sometimes a commander pushes someone to try out, sometimes you see the notice yourself and decide to take the shot. Either way, you're volunteering for something that will almost certainly end in failure. The window is tight, 21 to 35 years old. Young enough to survive the physical punishment. Old enough to have the maturity and judgment the unit demands. You go through pre-screening first, medical checks, service record review, eligibility verification. Pass that, and you get orders to Camp Dawson, West Virginia. That's when the real filtering starts. Level 2, the selectee. Selection runs twice a year, 4 weeks at a time. Late March through late April, late September through late October. Camp Dawson sits in the mountains, and that geography is the weapon. The first week begins almost politely. Physical tests you've seen before. Push-ups, sit-ups, a 2-mile run, an inverted crawl, a 110-yard swim, fully dressed. Then land navigation instruction, compass, map, terrain association. Every man there already knows the basics. That's not the point. They're establishing the baseline for how badly they plan to stretch you. Then the pressure starts rising. You get coordinates, a map, a compass, no GPS, no radio, no talking to other candidates, no help, no second tries. You walk into the woods alone and either find the point or you don't. 12 to 18 miles a day at first, carrying a 40-pound rucksack through steep terrain, navigating by bearing and contour while your legs and shoulders start to break down. They call it the stress phase. The distance increases, the weight increases, the time allowed tightens, night navigation, isolation, exhaustion, no reassuring timeline, no clear sense of whether you're ahead or already behind, just mountains, blisters, cold, and the growing suspicion that your body is failing faster than you expected. Then comes the final event. The long walk. 40 miles, 45-pound rucksack, rough terrain. And they do not tell you the time standard. You just move. Mile after mile, wondering if you're fast enough, wondering if you've already failed, wondering if you'll finish only to learn it never mattered. That uncertainty is part of the design. They are stripping away your ability to manage your own fear with information. Former Delta operator Paul Howe ran selection twice as an instructor. Each class had around 120 candidates, 12 to 14 finished. Kevin Holland, who came from the SEALs and Dev Group before trying for Delta, watched his class of 120 shrink to 16 who passed selection. Only half of those made it through what came next, because physical punishment is just the first filter. Level 3, the man under the microscope. After selection, you sit in front of psychologists, evaluators, and senior Delta leadership. Written tests, interviews, Observation. They're mapping your mental landscape now, not your endurance. How stable are you under isolation? How do you handle frustration when your body is shutting down? Do you stay composed when you're lost, humiliated, exhausted, and unsure whether you're still in the running? Can you think clearly when you no longer trust your own judgment? Then comes the commander's board. Former operators describe it as an interrogation. Every mile, every reaction, every lapse, every moment of adaptation becomes data. They are deciding whether you have something they cannot teach, the ability to keep functioning when everything starts going wrong at once. Some selection classes graduate one person, sometimes none. If you pass, you have not made it into Delta Force. You've earned the right to attempt the next gate. Level 4, OTC Trainee. The operator training course lasts about 6 months, and it exists to prove that selection was only the entrance exam. Half the men who survive selection won't finish OTC. This is where raw endurance gets reshaped into something far more dangerous. Marksmanship comes first, but not the way you learned it in the Rangers or Special Forces. Here, accuracy becomes religion. Stationary targets, moving targets, split-second exposures, tight groups that can be covered with a quarter. Every trigger press, every breath, every stance adjustment gets watched and corrected until conscious thought becomes slower than instinct. Then shoot houses, live ammunition, hostage scenarios, instructors and fellow trainees standing only feet away while you're firing. One mistake and you've just shot someone on your own side. The point is not just speed, the point is violent precision under pressure so extreme that hesitation and recklessness are equally fatal. Then breaching. Doors, walls, windows, vehicles. How much explosive opens the entry point without killing everyone inside? What happens when the charge fails and the target now knows you're outside? You practice on mock-ups of embassies, aircraft, compounds. Real-world target sets turned into rehearsal grounds. Tradecraft comes next, dead drops, brief encounters, surveillance and counter-surveillance, signals, evasion. Now you're learning to move like an intelligence officer, not just a soldier. Executive protection follows, advanced driving, J-turns. Anti-ambush techniques, using vehicles as shields, weapons, and escape systems under pressure. By the final exercise, everything gets fused together. Breaching, shooting, driving, tradecraft, snipers and assault teams moving in sync while the plan starts to collapse in real time. Because the plan always collapses. Finish OTC, and now you get the title everyone outside the unit romanticizes without understanding it. Operator. Level 5, the operator. Now you're inside. That word means something specific here. Not commando, not assaulter, operator. It separates you from the support personnel who serve the unit but never pass through this pipeline. You're assigned to an assault squadron, A, B, C, or D. Each has around 60 operators divided into troops. Assault troops first. Recon later if you survive long enough and prove you can handle smaller teams, thinner support, longer missions, deeper penetration. The hierarchy is flatter than in conventional army units. Rank still exists, but competence matters more. Team leaders are senior NCOs. Troop commanders are captains or majors. Squadron commanders are lieutenant colonels. But once operations start, nobody cares what your rank says if you can't perform. Your first deployment might be Iraq during the surge. Target packages stacked night after night. Bomb makers, facilitators, insurgent leaders, high-value individuals moving through safe houses and compounds. 3 or 4 raids a night, month after month. Doors hit at 2 in the morning. Families screaming. Men zip-tied on floors while intelligence gets pulled apart in real time. Sometimes the target is there. Sometimes the intelligence is wrong and you've just terrorized the wrong household in the dark. You do not get time to sit with that. Another target waits in 6 hours. Then Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, Somalia. Places that are never officially acknowledged, doing missions that never become public. This becomes your life. Deploy, operate, redeploy, repeat. The glamour dies fast. What's left is repetition, precision, and the knowledge that your margin for error never gets wider. Level 6. The ghost in the machine. Years pass and Delta stops feeling like a unit and starts feeling like a separate country with its own weather. Your body accumulates damage. Blown eardrums from breaching charges, bad knees from jumps and hard landings, shoulder damage from fast roping. TB is from one too many blasts. You watch other operators move into leadership. Team leaders become troop sergeants major. Officers move into squadron command. The best of them eventually command the unit itself, and that job is one of the clearest career accelerators in the modern army. Since the late 1990s, every Delta commander has retired as at least a 2-star general. Some go higher, but most operators never reach that altitude. Most spend their careers in the squadrons until their bodies give out or their appetite does. There are only around 250 to 300 assault operators in the unit at any given time. Out of roughly 1,000 total personnel, once you count analysts, support staff, communications specialists, and aviation elements, you are part of the narrowest tip of the spear, and eventually the unit starts replacing you before you're emotionally ready to be replaced. New men arrive, younger knees, better recovery, same hunger. The machine does not pause to honour how much you already gave it. That's how the cycle works. Level 7. The quiet retirement. You leave after 15 years in Delta. 25 total in the army. Your hearing is damaged. Your joints are ruined. You carry scars you can't explain to anyone outside the community. The unit gives you a quiet ceremony, a handshake from the commander, a plaque that usually disappears into a box because displaying it invites questions you can't answer. You move somewhere quieter. The marriage may not have survived. Your kids may know only fragments of who you really were. The pension is good. The healthcare will cover surgeries for the damage you spent years pretending wasn't damage. But the physical injuries aren't the real weight. The real weight is classified, missions that worked, missions that failed, men you killed who needed killing, men you killed because the wrong door got hit at the wrong hour, hostages saved, hostages reached too late, all of it permanent, none of it discussable. You carry a full history that can never really be spoken out loud. And somewhere right now, a ranger or a Green Beret is reading a recruitment notice and thinking about trying out. They're imagining the prestige, the myth, the status of making it into the most selective unit in the American military. They do not yet understand what they're volunteering for. Selection will show them part of it. Training will show them more. But the real price only becomes clear after years of doing work no one else can do, in places no one will admit, for reasons no one will fully explain. And by the time they understand that, they're already in.